After the police realizing that a new drug supplier could be in town, Police Chief Davis decides to be creative. He calls up his ex-detective buddy, Mr. Gordon, who is now the high school principal. "Hey, Gordon, are you staying safe over there as the new warden?" "Don't laugh, Davis. These kids here will eat you alive." Davis responds, "Well, actually, that's kind of what I'm calling for." Gordon says, "Is that right? How can I help?" Davis says, "Well, it turns out after we think we nipped this whole drug thing in the butt, a couple of kids got busted with some pot." Gordon says, "How much are we talking here, Davis? Anything serious?" No, not yet. Just a couple little baggies. I just want to make sure there's nothing bigger going on, and I was wondering how you'd feel if I used some of your kids from the Young Cadet program for some extra help." "Help in what way?" Gordon says. "Well, being that the kids who were busted are in the same age group, they might have some information or could possibly gain some." "Hey, you can never start working too soon, am I right?" Gordon responds, "Well, I can't argue there. I'll see if I could round up some volunteers. Have a good day, Davis." Gordon hangs up the phone. He then asks his secretary to call down Travis Parinelli to the office. Travis arrives looking nervous. Travis says to secretary, "Hi, I'm here to see Principal Gordon." Gordon flags him in. "Hey, Travis, follow me into my office if you wouldn't mind." Travis says, "Okay, no problem." Closes the door behind him and sits down. Travis says, "Mr. Gordon, I've been doing good. I'm working on my grades like the last thing we spoke about. I even joined that young cadet program you told me to." Gordon says, "Yes, Travis, that's actually why I called you down here." Travis asks, "Did I do something wrong? Am I in trouble?" Gordon says, No. "How have things been going with the cadets?" Travis says, "I like it. It's cool. You learn about how to help in emergencies and get an idea of what being a police officer is all about." Gordon says, "It sounds like you're really turning things around after your last incident. Just because you were caught stealing doesn't mean that has to mark you forever. This is a great opportunity for you to turn that around." Travis responds, "I know, and I'm very thankful for the second chance, Mr. Gordon, but what is this about?" Gordon says, "There's an opportunity for you to shine here. I just got off the phone with Police Chief Davis, and he told me he could really use your help right now." Travis responds, "He said that about me? I'd love to help, but how?" Gordon says, "Well, a lot of kids your age, unfortunately, are going down a wrong path with things like drugs. You being an age closer to them, that means you could get information that could maybe help us." And Travis responds, "Do you mean like an informant? I watch a lot of cop movies." Gordon says, "The word informant has such negative connotations to it. You want to be a cop one day, right?" Travis responds, "I would. Yes, sir." Gordon then says, "Think of this as the first job as an undercover cop." And Travis asks, "Undercover cop? That's awesome. I don't know what to say." Gordon says, "Say you won't let me down." Travis responds, "I won't, Mr. G. Have a great day." Down the hall in psychology class, one of the senior students, Eric Green, turns behind to Tommy and whispers, "Hey, what's up, man? I know you got that hookup on 420. Tommy says, "Oh, that's what you heard, huh?" Eric says, "Yeah, but I'm not even worried about that, though." Tommy says, "Oh, okay." Eric says, "I'm wondering if you got that hookup on that 982. Tommy says, 982? What the fuck is that? Eric says, "It's ecstasy, dude." Tommy says, "I'm straight on all that, man." Eric says, "What do you mean? You got to open up your horizons, my guy." Tommy says, "Dog, you're crazy. You didn't hear that they're giving people manslaughter out here for one fucking pill?" Eric responds, Man, you know that's just scare tactic propaganda. Tommy says, plus I heard that shit can make you retarded. Aren't you supposed to have a genius IQ or some shit? Eric says, my point exactly. Plus my big brother goes to U of M. I can guarantee you'll be able to sell weed to them like a motherfucker. But if you can get E, these rich college kids will give you their fucking inheritance, bro. Tommy says, I just don't understand what all the hype's about. I mean, what's it even feel like? Eric says, it's the greatest feeling you'll ever have. That's the only way I can describe it. Tommy says, well, shit, man. Let me get your number, and I'll let you know if I could stumble across something. When Tommy gets home from school that day, his dad, Fred, reminds him this weekend he's taking him to prison to visit his mom, who's currently incarcerated, for their monthly visit. Tommy's mom, Diane, was arrested in a crack distribution ring 10 years prior and has been in prison ever since. As Tommy enters the prison, Fred awaits in the car. Diane sees Tommy entering the visiting area from behind the glass and gestures for him to pick up the phone that connects to both sides. Diane takes a big puff of her cigarette, puts it out, and says, wow, can't believe how big you're getting, Tommy. Tommy says, yeah, that's what happens when you grow up, in a smart-ass tone. Diane says, oh, a big grown-up now, are we? So how's school? Tommy, being short, responds, it's good. Diane says, are you still dating that girl? How is she? Tommy says, Rebecca? No, we broke up a while ago. Diane says, oh, why? You didn't tell me. Tommy says, Mom, I see you once a month for like 30 minutes. Diane asks, what's the problem, Tommy? Tommy says, my problem? I have my own life now. Time has gone by, and I'm still coming here one Saturday a month, wasting my time. Diane says, oh, you're wasting your time? Do you have any idea what it's like to be in here, Tommy? Tommy says, yeah, and whose fault is that? Diane says, watch that attitude, mister. I'm going to be out soon, and we're going to have some things to talk about. Tommy says, yeah, you said that 2 years ago. Diane says, Tommy, I told you. They threw my appeal out on a technicality. Tommy says, they threw away your appeal because you bashed a girl's head into a wall and almost killed her. Diane says, oh, that was an exaggeration. She was fine. Diane says, you don't understand. You're out here like a spoiled brat making judgments. You don't know. Tommy says, oh, is that how kids that are spoiled feel? Diane says, look, I'm working on another appeal, and it's looking promising. Just be patient, please. Tommy says, whatever, it is what it is. The guard signals to Diane that it's time to wrap up visitation. Diane says, I'm going to call you, Tommy, and we're going to talk about this. I'm learning it's good to express your anger. I love you. She blows a kiss, touches the glass before Tommy exits. A man in a suit and tie gets up from the background. He shows a badge to the guards at the door separating the visiting area from the rest of the prison and gets let in. He jogs up to catch up to Diane, who's being escorted back, and stops her. Diane Zawinski, I'm Agent Taylor from the DEA. How are you? Diane responds, I've never been better. How about you? Agent Taylor asked, you wouldn't mind if I had a chat with you for a second, would you? Diane responds, do I have a choice? Agent Taylor says, I would prefer your cooperation, and it could be good news for you. Diane says, you know, it wasn't enough that you assholes sent me away to rot in prison for a nonviolent crime. Now you want a favor? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Agent Taylor says, it's about your case, actually. We've started some new programs to help speed up the release of prisoners such as yourself. Diane says, well, I'm all ears. How can I help you, officer? Agent Taylor asks the guard if he can have the office alone for a few minutes. The guard opens up the office door, lets them in, and closes the door behind them. Agent Taylor and Diane sit at the desk to discuss. Agent Taylor, so you've been in here for what, 8 to 9 years now? Diane says, 9 years, 6 months, and 7 days. But who's counting? Agent Taylor says, that's a pretty long time for a mother in her 40s. Diane says, don't you know you're not supposed to comment on a lady's age? Now that's not very gentlemanlike. So are we going to cut to the chase or what? Very well. We have an offer, and if you accept it, you can walk out of this prison today. Diane says, oh yeah? And what's that? Agent Taylor says, well, you being an ex-drug distributor could help us in our new fight against terrorism, and I would assume you'd love to play a part in protecting your country. Diane says, oh, little old me, an ex-drug dealer, helping fight terrorism, huh? Oh boy, the girls are gonna love this one. Now, what the hell do I have to do with terrorism? Mama bin Laden over here. Agent Taylor responds, well, we have found connections between drug sales and help to fund terrorist organizations. Or at least that's what we tell the voters that help get this amazing new funding. Diane says, it's always something with you motherfuckers, isn't it? So why am I really here? Agent Taylor says, we want you to help get intel in the world of drugs. Diane says, oh, sweetheart, do you know how much that world has changed since I've been gone? I'm a dinosaur now. I can give you information that's worth a damn if I wanted to. Agent Taylor says, we don't need you in that world directly. We're going to have you go to AA meetings, NA meetings, you know, places where there's recovering addicts. We want you to befriend them, get to know them. And then you can get to know their supply when they relapse, which we all know that they will. Diane says, you really are the devil, aren't you? You're telling me you want me to be an informant. That's what you're saying. Agent Taylor says, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I want you to help repair the lives of the people who you helped ruin. Or at least that's what'll be on your paperwork. Diane says, you could call me whatever you want, but I was never a snitch. And Agent Taylor says, oh yeah? And look where that's gotten you. Your ex-partner, Rick, well, he sang a different tune, and he never saw the inside of a prison cell. I'll let you think about it. Here's my number. Give me a call when you're ready. Back in Madison Heights, Mayor Sampson calls a meeting with the police chief Davis in his office. How are you, Davis? Come have a seat. I'd like to chat with you for a moment. Davis says, I'm doing well, sir. How's the job been treating you? The mayor responds, ribbon cutting, development planning, and council meetings. Who could ask for more? Police Chief Davis says, sounds like you got your work cut out for you. So how can I be at service, sir? The mayor says, well, what's this I hear about some more drugs getting into our beautiful city? Davis says, we're not sure yet if this is leftover supply or if it's from a new source. I have my team looking into it. I really put the fire under their asses to get to the bottom of it. The mayor says, I appreciate your mindfulness of the sensitive situation. We wouldn't want any unnecessary fear stoked up with our wonderful citizens now, would we? And Davis says, that's exactly why I'm making sure we see exactly what's going on before any further action is taken. The mayor says, well, you've been doing this for a long time, Davis. I trust your initial instinct that this was probably just some leftover supply. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill, shall we? Davis says, with all due respect, sir, I didn't say exactly. The mayor interrupts, Davis, don't worry. I'm a read between the lines kind of guy. I know exactly what you're saying. We were elected to clean up this city, and what a victory that has been, hasn't it? Let's not rain on the parade. Davis says, sir? The mayor says, I think it's time to focus our resources elsewhere. We have other battles to win, don't you agree? Davis says, well, I'm sure our help could be used in other areas, but the mayor interrupts. That's the spirit. I knew this meeting would go well. You have a great evening, Davis. And tell the wife and kids I said hello, would you? Later that evening at Steven's house, the crew hangs out, smokes, and has some beers. Marcus takes the first hit of a fresh blunt and says, life is good. Joe says, if you don't hurry up and pass that shit, dog, I've been fiending all damn day. Marcus says, that's 'cause you a crackhead for weed. Joe says, that's bogue, man. Tommy says, yeah, that's fucked up, man. And Michael chimes in, that must be why me and Maximo saw you on that mountain bike looking like you were looking for bottles. Andre says, why you guys always gotta talk shit? You can't just smoke some weed and chill? Michael says, why you always gotta collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards? His brother Maximo laughs. Steven rolls up a blunt, adds it to the rotation. Marcus says, well, look at this motherfucker. What did you make that in shop class? That looks like a magic wand. Harry Pothead in this bitch. Steven says, don't talk shit. That's a solid looking blunt. I've been practicing. Joe says, been practicing about as much as you've been practicing that flute. Steven replies, better than practicing that crack pipe. Tommy says, oh man, it's getting wild in here. Tommy asks the group, so real talk, what do you guys know about ecstasy? Steven says, I don't know, isn't that really bad for your brain or something? Marcus says, yeah, I heard that shit makes you retarded. Tommy says, I don't know. I think it all might be overhyped. I talked to some people and they said that shit will make you feel like Superman. He said, if we can supply it, we'll make a fortune. Steven says, what are we going to sell next? Nuclear weapons? They're charging people with manslaughter for one pill. What do you want, the death penalty? Maximo says, speaking of that, our cousin in Canada actually has been trying to get some through. Me and my family visit every weekend. He's been telling me about how much money we can make if we smuggle it. Steven says, oh, now we're talking about international drug trafficking? What the hell is happening, guys? Maximo says, chill out. I told him I wouldn't do it unless I could get rid of it right when I got over here. I don't want that shit on me for too long. Steven says, so that's that then. Like you said, way too risky. Tommy says, well, Eric told me he has buyers lined up. They've been waiting, and they're ready to pay high prices. Steven says, oh, fuck me. Come on, seriously? Maximo says, I'll talk to him next weekend. Tommy texts Eric, I got the connect. Back at the prison, after Diane has been looking at Tommy's baby pictures, thinking of a hard decision she has to make, she decides to give Agent Taylor the call. She goes to the phone, dials his number. Agent Taylor answers. Hello, Agent Taylor, how can I help you? Diane says, hey, it's Diane. I thought about your offer. I'm going to take it. Agent Taylor responds, I'll have paperwork ready for the morning, and we'll be ready for your release. The next morning, Diane grabs her things and changes into the outfit that she came in 10 years prior. She is set to be released and finally be a free woman. Or is she?